to the Bridge program in mathematics. For today's video, we're going to discuss about solving quadratic equation using the square root property. So, how can we solve a quadratic equation by a square root property? Now, actually, we have done this already when we discussed about power equation. So here, if A and B are algebraic expressions, okay, suppose we have two algebraic expressions such that A squared is equal to B, okay, so our expressions are of the form A squared is equal to B, then we have the solution for that quadratic equation, A, which is equal to the plus or minus the square root of B. As I've said earlier, we have already encountered this method when we discuss about power equation. Because a quadratic equation is an example of a power equation. Now, this method is used if it is the form x squared is equal to k, or the quantity of ax plus b squared is equal to k, where k represents any constant. Okay? So we have to remember on how to solve a quadratic equation using the square root property. So here are the steps to follow. These steps are very, very important for us to use the square root property in solving the quadratic equation. Number one, transform the equation. Okay, you are going to transform the equation so that a perfect square is on one side and a constant is on the other side of the equation. So if you're given a quadratic equation, you're going to transform that one so that you have a perfect square on one side and a constant on the other side. Number two, use the square root property to find the square root of each side. So after transforming, we're going to use the square root property to find the square root of each side. And number three, you solve each resulting equation because there will be resulting equations there. So that's the time you are going to solve that. So for example, we have example 1. Solve the quadratic equation x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. So how can we do this? Since we are given a quadratic equation in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, where in this case, a is equal to 1, b is 0, because there is no variable here in the middle. So b is equal to 0 and c is equal to negative 16. Now the next step is to transform this given equation such that a squared is equal to b form. So x squared is equal to 16. Okay, so from x squared minus 16 is equal to 0, it becomes x squared is equal to 16. And you notice that this is already of the form a squared is equal to b, right? So applying the square root property, we get the square root of both sides. We have square root of x squared is equal to plus or minus the square root of 16. We have again two possible solutions, the plus or minus, because the exponent of the variable is 2, which is even. So we have x is equal to plus or minus 4, or the positive and negative 4. Now, we have to check to verify if the two values that we got, the positive 4 and the negative 4, are really the solutions of the quadratic equation. So, thank you very much, and we hope that you learned something.